Pudge, what's the most difficult part of that transition? Robbie was talking about being 4 or 5 hours away from his home, but he was still in his own country. They still spoke the same language. What's the most difficult part? Like when you went from Puerto Rico to Port Charlotte, Florida, right after Luis Rojas signed you, what was the most difficult part?
Well, I think the language, English, that we had to speak, it was the big obstacle that we went through. Obviously, even though that in Puerto Rico we had the mandatory English classes at school, but it's not the same when you're using that in the normal life. I think that was kind of one of the hardest things that I have at the time. I wasn't speak the language well. I think I was 16 years old, leaving the house, not used to live with other people like players and be in the same apartment with 4, 5, 6 players. Those couple of things was to me the hardest part. The baseball part of it, no problem. The ability to play the game, no problem. But I think is the communication in English to the pitching staff and to the coaches and to be able to go and talk to the pitcher during the game. Those things to me was kind of a little difficult in the beginning, but later on, my ex-wife grew up in New York City, so we speak English at the house a lot, and in spring training we have Nilsa Gomez, which is Orlando Gomez' wife.
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
used to give us some English classes from 6 to 7:30 at the hotel every day, and that helps me tremendously in my career.
Robbie, was that the toughest transition for you too? The just the language barrier?
Yes, I feel like that's the hard part as a Latino player, come to a different country, don't be able to express yourself and what you think and understand what people saying to you is kind of hard, sometimes it make the baseball side more difficult because there's a lot of things you worry about outside of the field. You know what Coach was talking about. When you play in the game, that was kind of easy for me. And outside of the field, it was tough. And I really have to thank all the whole family because I remember playing my short season in Boise, Idaho. I was staying with American family. They helped me big time to learn the language and learn how people are here in the U.S. because you don't grow up here, you don't know what people like and how they want you to express yourself. It's a lot of things you have to learn when you come to the U.S. and those family helped me a lot when I came to the U.S. my first year.
And I know for both of you, Robbie, we'll start with you. Even little things like just you're with a bunch of guys that as a teenager, you got to eat. Somebody's got to cook. You had to learn how to cook, didn't you?
Yeah, that's how you can be eating hamburgers and French fries every single day. So learning how to cook, it was a process for me. I remember my wife, that time back in 2002, that was the first year we started dating. It was my second season in the U.S. I remember playing the short season in Boise when I told you I was living with this American family. Here, my mom teach me how to cook through the phone. I remember calling my mom and asking her how I make rice or how I do chicken and steak, stuff like that. And they hear me to learn how to cook. So I can tell you how thankful I am with my wife now and my mom for the help they give to me even through the phone. Sometimes you don't need to be there to help somebody. You can do it through so many ways. And my mom and my wife did it through the phone. And they heard me, not only myself, but my teammate. You say I remember having two guys, Luis Reyes, who is from Puerto Rico, and Ronnie Cedeño, who play in the big league. We were rooming in the same house, and I remember cooking for them. So they were taking advantage of my mom and my wife now because they taught me how to cook. So it was fun. It was fun, and I always remember those memories.
Pudge, were you a good cook?
Now I am.
Yeah.
No before, no in my early stage in as a professional baseball player. But I went through the same that Robbie just mentioned. I mean, I have to call my mom a lot to teach me how to make white rice, how to make beans, how to make chicken stew, a steak stew, something like that. But that's the fun part of lead, being that kind of life, kind of like be by yourself, learn how to, wash your clothes, wash your dishes, and just be able to cook uh, for yourself and also cook for your teammates and just also be around your teammates and everybody have a job to do. Someone is cleaning the floor, someone is watching the plays and stuff like that, someone is cooking. So that part of my minor league career that I have was fun because today we are a very good friends. Today we still
Mm.
calling each others, and every time we get together, we always talk about that part of the life that we live at the time.